Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 2 of Sunburn. This is the date with Shoji. It's nothing exciting, just a little bit of cute after last week's Hawks one-shot that was a little bit, if you know what I mean. So here is the second installment of Sunburn, Shoji x female listener. Enjoy. Over the next few days, you exchanged numbers with Shoji and would text him randomly. He wasn't particularly funny or charming, but his genuine nature and friendliness really won you over, and you found yourself texting him more and more. You both organised to go out that next weekend, and surprisingly, you were quite nervous. The morning of, you got dressed, then redressed again. You just couldn't seem to find the right outfit to suit the coming date. It's just at a cafe, it's not going to be anything super romantic or anything. Wait, why am I thinking about romantic things with Shoji? Feeling slightly flustered, you smacked your cheeks a few times with your hands, then shook your head to shake the thoughts out through your ears and put a determined face on. Okay, let's go, you thought with determination, heading out of your dorm room and off to the front of the building to meet with him. As you got to the elevator, Kaminari stepped out and immediately smacked his hand up against the part where the elevator doors retracted into to stop the doors from closing, so that he could look you up and down. Hey, you're going on a date, aren't you? He asked, checking you out. Can you stop? You said with a playful eye roll. Who's the lucky person? It's not me, so I want to know who my competition is, he said with a smirk. Stop, you chuckled. You're such a shameless flirt. Move, I'm late. Who is it? Come on, he cajoled, stepping aside so you could walk into the elevator. Bye, Denki, you said before pressing the button and closing the elevator door on him. You sighed and shook your head as the square box slowly lowered you down to the bottom level of Heights Alliance. Once the doors had opened, you stepped out, just in time to see Kaminari hide back around the corner, obviously spying on you. He must have taken the emergency stairs down. Ignoring him, you walked over to where Shoji was sitting on the lounge there and gave him as bright a smile as your nerves would allow. Hey, you greeted. Let's go? Why is Kaminari spying on us? He asked as he stood up. Oh, he said something about wanting to see his competition or something, you admitted honestly, only realising after you'd said it how it sounded. I didn't realise he had feelings for you, Shoji said, a little sadly. No, he doesn't. You know him. He's just being a flirt. He doesn't mean it, you said hastily. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about him. Let's go. And with that, you grabbed the closest hand to you and dragged him out the door. His hand was quite muscular and strong, and really warm, and your attention hung on it as you pulled him with you away from Heights Alliance. Once you were out the gate, you let go and pretended to adjust something on yourself. Sorry, you said. I shouldn't have grabbed your hand like that. I have no concerns with you holding my hand, Shoji said. I have plenty to choose from. His sudden little joke made you laugh with surprise as you looked up into his face. You couldn't see his smile, but you could feel the warmth radiating from him, and it made you relax a little bit more. Thanks, you chuckled. So, off to the cafe? Yes, unless you want to do something else, he asked politely. No, it's fine. Hold up, you suddenly said when you saw a mobile boba tea van ahead. Leaving his side, you trotted forwards and stopped in front of a little A-frame sign out the front of the van and squealed with delight. No way, you said with disbelief. Shoji walked up beside you and stopped to read the sign. Heroes and hero students eat free today for 1 hour. And then in brackets, this is because of fat gum, the sign read. You had another little laugh at the ending of the sign and approached the older gentleman who was serving at the window of the van. Hi! Are we really allowed to eat anything for free for 1 hour? You queried. Are you heroes? The man asked, looking over your head to Shoji behind you. You both nodded. Yeah, hero students, you replied, grabbing for your wallet to show your student ID card. Shoji did the same, and the guy looked at them and then nodded. Sure, what would you like? He asked, gesturing to the board behind him that housed all of the different options. Everything, you said excitedly. Everything? He asked with surprise. How you gonna carry it? He paused when Shoji held up his 6 arms and you held up your 2. We'll manage, you said with a grin, looking back at Shoji. I see. the guy said as he started to make one of each of the drinks for you. I can't believe our luck, you said to Shoji, bouncing up and down on your toes. Finally, the poor guy finished making all the boba tea and handed them over to you one by one, which you then handed back to Shoji. Tell people about us, the guy called to you as you and Shoji walked away. We will, you called back happily. You found a bench seat nearby and sat down with your collection and looked over some of the drink names. Ooh, this one sounds good, you said to Shoji, pointing to one in his upper left hand. He held it out to you and then read the label and nodded. It does. You want to try some? You asked, reaching into the brown paper bag the guy had given you that housed the giant-sized boba straws. You pulled one out and stabbed it into the top of the drink, then leaned forward while Shoji held it for you. You hummed as you swallowed the delicious liquid and boba balls down. Try some. Shoji looked down at the straw, and you reached into the brown paper bag. Wait, here's a straw for you. You stabbed it into the top of the drink next to your straw, and he made a mouth on the end of his limb and then gently sucked on the straw. You watched curiously. What do you think? You asked after a while. Nice, he said with another mouth on another limb. Man, that's so handy. I wish I could eat and talk at the same time. You leaned back in and drank some more of the boba tea drink while he continued to drink from the mouth on his limb. It was kind of weird, but kind of flustering at the same time to have his mouth so close to yours, and you looked up into his one visible eye as you drank. He quickly looked away with a small blush, and you averted your eyes and looked somewhere else. Which one do you want to try? You asked once you had swallowed that mouthful. This one looks intriguing, he said, holding up another one. One by one you tried them all, and found yourself sitting closer and closer to each other each time you tried a new drink, and each time your lips were getting closer to his mouth every time. Shoji was looking very flustered, finding it hard to maintain eye contact with you, even pulling his mouth back sometimes when he felt like he had held it too close to yours for too long. After trying all the drinks, you sat back and patted your belly. I'm done. It was amazing, you said, happily full. Which was your favourite? He asked. Hard to say, you replied with a smile, but the company made them all taste good. I must agree, he replied. You sat a while longer and talked, then decided to head back to the dorms since the sun was starting to set. Thank you so much for today, you said to him with a gentle smile as you took his closest hand and squeezed it. I would like to do that again sometime, he said softly. Same, you replied. It's a deal then, he said with a small amount of relief in his voice. It's a date, you said with a giant smile. And that's the date. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week's one-shot will be the third part of Stuck Together, since there was such a high demand for another part, ever since the release of part 2. So part 3 will be quite racy, but I'll do my best to keep it written in a way that's acceptable for YouTube, because I don't really want a community strike. But anyway, stay tuned for that one, and I will see you next week.